Hello, brothers and sisters. Hey, thanks for joining me again today. Last week, I covered a story where it's come to light that the BBC faked some January 6th clips from Trump on Panorama and seriously broke their standards rules and really put their thumb on the scale of the 2020 election for Biden. And hey, it worked. So I'm sure the news chiefs over there at the BBC are happy with how that fake news propaganda worked out for them. Well, now there's another impartiality issue. BBC newsreader broke rules by pulling a face because her script said pregnant person, but bosses don't seem to care that Panorama doctored the Trump speech. Yeah, so let's see what she did. She pulled a face because her script said pregnant people on it? Imagine that. That's outrageous. Let's see what she actually did.
Sam Harrison in Hampstead Heath. London's School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine has released research which says that nearly 600 heat-related deaths are expected in the UK. Malcolm Mystery, who was involved in the research, says that the aged, pregnant people, women, and those with pre-existing health conditions need to take precautions.
It's going to be a lovely day, and based on that, many people would want to spend a lot of time outdoors. Having said that, we need to keep certain things in mind, especially for those who are most vulnerable to heat.
All right, so let's watch that again, just to make sure we got it.
Sam Harrison in Hampstead Heath. London's School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine.
So it looks like here she's just reading and she's got a very neutral expression because they said she made a face. So let's see.
Has released research which says that nearly 600 heat-related deaths are expected in the UK. Malcolm Mystery, who was involved in the research, says that the aged, pregnant people, women, and...
All right, so she stopped, she rolled her eyes a little bit and then kind of chunked her head over and said, women, when she got the pregnant people.
Those with...
And see, now she's got a smile on her face the rest of the time because she just thinks it's hilarious that they would write her script for her that she's reading as pregnant people.
Pre-existing health conditions need to take precautions.
And now she's got a smile. This is outrageous. She should be sacked. Let's see what happened to her. The BBC was last night accused of shocking double standards after rebuking a newsreader who corrected pregnant people to women. Martine Croxall went viral earlier this week when she made a face while reading the autocue script during a live broadcast, winning her a legion of fans. But on the same day, the corporation was accused of suppressing stories that asked difficult questions in the trans debate. Ms. Croxall found herself censured for her reaction. Tory party leader Kemi Badenoch accused the corporation of losing the plot and called for Director General Tim Davie to intervene or resign. Reform UK leader Nigel Farage said it was complete double standards, adding the newsreader should be applauded, not scolded. Why should people continue to pay the license fee? The broadcaster is also facing calls for an investigation after Panorama was accused of editing a Donald Trump speech to make it seem as if he had encouraged the January 2021 Capitol insurrection. Boris Johnson said Mr. Davie must either explain or resign over the impartiality row. The BBC has been caught red-handed in multiple acts of left-wing bias, the former prime minister said. They have grotesquely doctored a speech by President Trump. They've taken the words of Hamas's gospel. They've suppressed debate about the trans issue. Anyone who owns a TV is compelled to fund this organization. Tim Davie must either explain or resign. Yeah, that's related to the whistleblower who was on the standards committee. He came out with evidence that he had alerted leadership that they had doctored Trump speeches to make him say things he never said. And I didn't cover it, but there were other parts to that whistleblowing around how they were only booking trans positive guests and saying trans positive things because they didn't want to annoy the trans crowd. And they were exceedingly negative in their coverage of Israel and not really being impartial when it came to that conflict with Hamas. And now they're scolding this presenter who did a very natural thing. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the majority of people in the UK would agree with her that they would prefer to use the term women instead of pregnant people. Like it or not, it's a biological fact. Only women can get pregnant. So she's quite right. I don't believe in using the Orwellian doublespeak of the left. They like changing the language, and they do it on purpose. I refuse to use their woke language. Pregnant people are women. It's the same thing. So I don't see anything wrong with her words. She does need to do a better job working with whoever is writing her scripts. She should really read her script before she reads it, because the words are coming out of her mouth. And so if she doesn't want to say certain words, then she needs to have that discussion before she gets on air. And if the BBC is requiring her to say certain words, that's her job. Fair enough. She either has to say them or she should resign. Does seem to be a two-tier thing where speech that the left likes is okay and speech that they don't like is not okay. And so she's getting censured for it. The left is also quite happy to drop their impartiality when it's Trump's speech. Miss Croxall, 56, who joined the corporation in 1991, received the complaints after she introduced a short news item on vulnerable people in a heat wave. As she read the phrase pregnant people on autocue, she quickly added women and made a facial expression, which the corporation has been variously interpreted by complainants as showing disgust, ridicule, contempt, or exasperation. I didn't see disgust, maybe ridicule, contempt, exasperation. Maybe I saw that. Her word change went viral online and earned her praise from gender-critical campaigners such as Martina Navratilova and J.K. Rowling, who dubbed her my new favorite BBC presenter, adding, "You'd better not be in any trouble." At the time, it was understood bosses had been relaxed about the situation. But the BBC's executive complaints unit upheld the objections yesterday, saying the newsreader had breached its rules on impartiality. In a widely derided statement, it said the ECU considered the facial expression laid it open to the interpretation that it indicated a particular viewpoint in the controversies currently surrounding trans identity and congratulatory messages. Croxall later received on social media, together with critical views expressed in the complaints to the BBC, tended to confirm that the impression of her having expressed a personal view was widely shared across the spectrum of opinion on the issue, as giving the strong impression of expressing a personal view on a controversial matter, even if inadvertently falls short of the BBC's expectations of its presenters and journalists in relation to impartiality. The decision sparked fury in political quarters, with Miss Badenoch arguing Miss Croxall deserved an apology. She told the Mail, "Whoever reprimanded Martine Croxall has lost the plot. This is the latest in an endless series of complaints that shows the BBC is no longer acting as a public service broadcaster. License fee payers want the truth, not force-fed ideological rubbish from a cabal of agenda-driven activists. It's time to end this madness." Completely agree. The Director General should get involved. If he cannot protect his staff, then should go, and the board should recruit someone who will impose common sense. Croxall deserves an apology, not a rebuke. Fiona McKenna of Sex Matters Charity described the verdict as chilling. She added, "The activist term pregnant people should never have been in the news bulletin to begin with." 100% right. So it is outrageous that BBC is penalizing Martine Croxall for her understandable frustration. Only women can be pregnant. BBC audiences know this fact of life. The BBC bosses do too. So their punishment of Croxall looks like more chilling proof of the apparent willingness to put ideology before independent reporting. Yeah, trans activists never let an opportunity to bash the other side go. Miss Croxall, alongside others, brought a sex and age discrimination case against BBC earlier this year, which it settled. She has not commented on the furor, but when she gained 50,000 social media followers almost overnight following the Saturday afternoon broadcast, she said, "A huge thank you to anyone who has chosen to follow me today. For whatever reason, it's been quite a ride." Her censuring came as BBC bosses stood accused of ignoring a damning internal report into impartiality. The 19-page document was sent to the BBC board, including Mr. Davey, and Chairman Samir Shah in September said that there was effective censorship by LGBT staff in the news division. Report author Michael Prescott, a former independent advisor to the BBC editorial watchdog, said he had spoken with corporation staff who had concerns about trans coverage. Mr. Prescott's report said the BBC had been captured by a small group of staff promoting the Stonewall view of the trans debate. A corporation spokesman said, "When BBC receives feedback, it takes it seriously and considers it carefully." Mr. Prescott will give evidence to the Commons Culture, Media, and Sport Committee next Wednesday. So I say good on you, Martine. And for all my viewers, don't let leftists compel your speech. You have free speech. Speak with your words. Don't let them require you to use their preferred language. If they want to say pregnant people, great. If you want to say women, great. That's called free speech. And we all know the BBC is not impartial. It is captured by the left. It does need a big shakeup. And as long as it's pushing this left-wing agenda, I don't see why everyone should have to pay the license fee. If you're going to be required to pay the license fee, they really do need to be impartial as much as possible and not push any ideology, right or left. Just report the news, folks. Stop wading into the culture wars. Hey, let me know what I got right or wrong. If you like this, like and subscribe. And if you don't watch it. Thanks. Bye.